All right, so this is our will run, our best run per se. We've run on Wednesday a few times, kind of just get our feet wet. We had some of our main team not available, so we sort of were mix and matching people. We had about a solid five maybe that ran both on Wednesday and Thursday, maybe six, and then we kind of had fillers in here and there depending on scheduling and things like that. So a mixture, right? And I think for Will, reps is super important. Some people catch on a lot faster than others. Obviously, there's a lot going on, right? And so I was really proud of the team because we were able to get to phase two. Not phase one wasn't smooth, but we got to phase two. We kind of learned that we could survive for a long time, and it was just cleaning up some mechanics and some strategies that I think will help us do a lot better moving forward. But kind of right now, it's a feeling out process and a learning process. And so I'm going to sort of talk about what the biggest learning points for Will are right now, because it does have its own mechanics and it does take some getting used to, right? So again, like any other boss, positioning is super crucial. Just like Damien, just like Lotus. If you're not an aggro or a tank, you want to stand behind Damien, right? And with this team, we had a lot of instances where aggro was jumping, right? So at the start in phase one, you'll see that there's the first thing you want to pay attention to is this moonlight gauge thing right here, right above the soul, right above the fever. That is the big mechanic for will. You want to fill that up. And in phase one, it allows you to change between rooms. And so you'll see right there the HP bars. There's 3 HP bars for will. There's the blue and the purple. So that indicates which room you're in. So ideally, we would all get to the blue room. So right now, half the team is split up at the start. They're trying to fill the gauge. When it lights up right there, see how it lights up? That means you can switch rooms. Now, since I'm already in the blue room, and you can tell by two things. You can tell by the background is blue, but also the HP bar that is actually in the right color is the room that you're in. So the white, grayish white one is the other room, and then the blue one, that's obviously the room that you're in, right? So those are two indicators on what room we're in. And so you can see right now, both rooms are getting dropped evenly. And then once everyone gets into, so I messed up right there, but that's me. So now this is what the purple room looks like. So you see not too many people are left in here because everyone moved over to the blue room. So you can see now everyone's in the blue room. My gauge has a little timer. That's how you know I switched rooms as well. Everyone's in the blue room, and we're just going to DPS it down right here. So you can see how blue is going down faster than the other one. And then we end up switching right here. So unfortunately, this team, if we played a little better, we probably could have got down to this 1/3 mark, these notches right here. And that is the goal, because it's a sort of test, DPS check, test on getting through this red bar, this red HP bar. So you'll see right here we switched to this purple room because we wanted to get purple down. There's a few reasons for that, but the main thing is that at 58, every 1358, 1258, there is going to be a test. And there's two things that the test is looking for, right? It's going to be a screen crack. So right here, this is kind of ideal that both are around the same, because at 58, there is going to be a test here. You're going to see the banner show up right here. Will is trying to unlock his power, find your way to safety. So this is the test at 58 seconds, right? And so what we're looking for is this eye in the middle, and that's the room you want to stay inside. If we were in the blue room, there would be no eye, and screen crack would happen in that room, and it would one-shot everyone in that room. So what you do at this time is you look for the eye. If you're in the eye, you stay. If you're not in the eye, you use the moonlight gauge and you flip over to that room to be for safety. Right? There's two things that happen at 58. One is that screen crack, and two is if you are at this notched mark, this 1/3 notched mark, you will go into another test, a gold shell test. But since we didn't get there, the lowest HP is going to go back to the highest HP. So that's why it's important that both sides are evenly distributed as possible. Because you'll see later in the fight that we don't do that, and it really just wastes DPS. So it's really wasteful. So right here, you see how that happened right there? This is where they went even. The HP bar, the red one, went all the way back. And then now we're downing this purple room. And once you hit that notched mark, you're going to start seeing zeros. Okay? So you're not going to do any more damage. You can't get past that. And that's how the indicator for us is to switch rooms. So right there, we switch rooms, made sure we got it down, because sometimes we were close to not getting it down. And then now we're just all in this blue room, trying to DPS it down. And then we're trying to fill our moonlight gauge. So ideally, if we played it right, did a few things better, we could have got to this check mark, this notched mark at 1358. That's what we're eventually going to have to do. But right now you see we're doing zeros. We can't do any more damage, right? Our DPS is not going up over here, and we're waiting for the 58-second mark. So we're just trying to fill up our gauge here, make sure it's full, and prepare for test. So you'll see right here, I just pop Sanko to be safe. Will is trying to unlock his power. There's no eye in the middle, so we all switch over to purple. And this is the safe room. So that's test number 1, the screen crack. Test number 2 is this banner. Attack the people to redirect the moonlight. Use this to create the moonlight barrier. And this is when we both hit both notches. Right? So there's the eye in the middle on the ground. It creates this little shell. And essentially what we're trying to do is there's going to be another screen crack at like the 28-second mark, 30-second mark, that if you're not in that shell, you're going to get one-shotted. Or if someone dies during this phase as well from these black orbs, red and black pink orbs that hit, they one-shot, or they do hit like 240, 250k. So some people get one-shotted. It resets. We fail the test. And we'd have to go, the HP would go back up a little bit. So you see, while I'm in iframe, I'm sort of playing like, it's kind of like Popcorns in Damien, or in Magnus, you can block the orbs. That's sort of what I'm doing. Because so screen crack right here, we took the screen crack, I survived with iframe up, and then I'm blocking these orbs. Because, yeah, you see right there, we got lucky because that orb fell down right at the end of the screen crack. So if that happened a little bit earlier and she died, then we don't have to get reset. But since it happened, we were lucky. The banner came up and we're on to the next phase. So we passed that first test. You see the HP is going back down. And this is what I was talking about. We should have switched over, and where we can improve, we should have switched over right here. Because look, there's only 10 seconds left between the next test. So you'll see the HP, we don't switch rooms until it's very late. And I burst here like a goon. So I'm making it go down even more. And then by the time 58 comes, so we're trying to find safety. There's no eye in this room. So we switch to the other room. But look at the HP bars right here. So that's one area, wasted DPS. All of that was wasted, right? So that's one area that I should have called out better, and that I'm trying to improve on, because that is huge. Because now my burst is down. Everyone's burst is down, and we have a minute left to get there to the next test, but we're not going to get there because we don't have any DPS. We don't have anything going for us, right? So you'll see we're in the purple room right now. We're going to switch over soon, right, to even it out. But if we did a better job in that first minute, so we switch here to even it out. But if we did better in that little 30-second window, and all that DPS didn't just go back, the health didn't go back up, we may have gotten to this at this next 58-second mark, which is huge, right? Because you'll see now we're kind of just playing conservative. We know we're not going to get there, so we're just trying to even it out. Test right here. Banner, find your way to safety. The eye is here, so we're staying, right? Team does a great job. They figure it out. Callouts are great. We're in a good spot. But now the HPs are better. So now in this case, we're going to kind of waste time, right? Remember how we were waiting previously like 30 seconds doing 0 damage? This is going to be the same way, right? So we're getting blue down to the check mark, switch over, and getting purple down. And look at those truffle locks DPS. Sheesh. But yeah, you see right here, we're going to get there with time to spare, twiddling our thumbs. Right, we get there right here, 15 seconds left, doing nothing. So this is time that can be shaved off if we just played a little better, coordinated a little better. But regardless, we got there, right? And look, 10 lives left. There's a lot of stuff going on. All of this other debris and spider legs and orbs, they're pretty minor. The tornado right there, however, that right here, that is the big skill. But right here, find your way to safety. We're all going to the blue. And then we're going to get this test again. So banner coming up. And so what we learned is like, we just have to dodge those. Don't be in the shell right there. But what we learned is that iframes, like this part is super crucial. If we fail, if someone dies here, we have to wait a whole nother minute. So right here, unfortunately, we had a death here. And so you'll see the HP went back up, right? And so we just have to wait, unfortunately, again. And it just, if we actually want it to clear, we have to be better at that, right? Every second counts. Because look, now it's 30 seconds, 20 seconds till the next check mark, 58 seconds here. And all that's wasted DPS. Do we get there? Here, maybe? We're trying to burst it. Trying to find your way to safety. Crack. Yeah. So look how close we were. Look how close we were, but we didn't get there. Right, so now, again, wasted time. But this is... Oh, actually, we did get there. Lucky. So we were close, but we got there. Right? So scratch everything I just said. But we got in the test here. Now we're running from these blacks. Everyone's back in the shell. And if that, like I'm just using my iframe here to block that orb, not taking any chances. And then we're running from that. Right? So team survived there. We passed the next test. Surprisingly, I thought we didn't make it, but we did. And now it's rinse and repeat. So you can see this is 7 minutes into the fight. Phase 1. The fastest you can do this, even in KMSM, even with the best DPS, the way the mechanics works is 6 minutes. So, and you need to clear it in 6 minutes. If it takes 7 minutes, it's very sweaty for the future phases, phase 2 and phase 3. But for this, we were just trying to get experience, right? We have 2 deaths, 7 minutes in, doable. We have 2 bishops. So one of our bishops we're getting good support healing. And we have a phantom, but for the most part, a lot of this stuff doesn't hit very hard. And as long as aggro is facing the right way and doing their job, and we had some good aggros here, and we had tanky aggros, they were healing through everything. So like if you're, obviously that is kind of the gear requirement. All of these skills, these debris is all HP scale damage. And then the tornado is fixed. So that is really the only issue. And if you get knocked back, you want to blink right on top of the boss. But you see right here, it just takes long, right? For us on this team, it's going to take a while. But I think there are things that we can do better to improve our times, like I said, and mechanics. Because if we can shave off like even 30 seconds here, right? Like we're going to get through this pretty quickly. And we're always waiting 20, 30 seconds. Sometimes it's inevitable. We have no choice. But other times, like we can do things better. I can do things better to call things out, to coordinate splits and stuns and maximizing DPS so that we can get there, right? So here we are getting through phase 1, the last test, waiting another 20 seconds. And I mean, look at the DPS. Look at how much damage people are doing. Yikers. Ice Lightning Mage at the top, Nightwalker, the Truffleoxes, Millerings is a Night Lord, and then Homeless is Shade. You'll see his POV in YouTube, he streams it, and then I'm Paladin. So we're here, this is all rinse and repeat. Unfortunately, Tornado, right? You saw that Tornado. We kind of got relaxed there, and then now it's just getting to this test. Right in here, we're sort of prepping for phase 2 because we had issues with phase 2 the first time, a few times, because in phase 2, the Moonlight Gauge does something different. And I'll be right back. Once we get into phase 2, I'll talk about it more. So like I'm right here, like blocking all those orbs. That may have wiped the team right there. So that is crucial if your team watching or something, trying to actually do it. Paladins, anyone with iframe, saves lives. It really does. That could have wiped the team easily. There's nowhere to go. And if you didn't have an ethereal form or shell, or not shell, or iframe, or not enough HP, yeah, that would have killed us and we would have got screwed on the test. All right, we'll be right back. We'll get to phase 2. All right, so phase 2. Now, the difference is Moonlight Gauge is for HP healing. So it triggers faster. So right here, it lit up already, right? At kind of like at a quarter mark, maybe like even, yeah, less. So you can, it's essentially manual power elixirs. Like you cannot use a power elixir until you press this because there's a debuff in phase 2 for pots. So basically, if you can use your own self heals, like paladins, like nightwalkers, like I think even like bishop's fountains and stuff work. But like to trigger the power elixir, you have to press the button. So it's a little tedious getting used to. And the biggest issue that we've had is 2 things. One is positioning, because there are webs in the corners. So you'll see like a web here, and then it's kind of off the screen here, but there's a web over here. And those are going to one-shot you when you get knocked back. And aggro, the tanks, will get knocked back in this phase 2. There's a knockback skill. So the main thing that we had an issue was we're getting knocked back into the webs, one shot, and then there's a spider skill that like it's like the tornado in phase 1, but it crawls towards in the direction and it wipes everybody basically. So those are 2 things that we had to overcome once we got here first few times. And so we forced ourselves, one, to memorize or have a good idea of when spider was coming, because it is a set rotation, right? So that's important on when to know spider was coming so that we could stun it and skip the first one and then at least prepare for the second one. And then the main thing was the positioning. So you can see kind of in this picture how Will is off to this offset to the right a little bit. We needed to push him back into the middle so that when he gets knocked back, which is a fixed knockback, EXP jewels, knockback jewels do not work. It's fixed knockback. So we have to make sure we're centered here so the knockback pushes us just far enough to not get hit by the web. Because that's the 1-2 combo Makadai dead. So you can see, and all the other debris and stuff doesn't really matter. So we stunned right there to avoid the spider. Split, DPS, burst right here. So I got knocked back right there. Took damage. And I'm at a half HP. And then so I should use my moon gauge to heal up. There, I used the moon gauge right there. It triggered, healed up. So I got to be quicker about it. Everyone got to be quicker. Kind of a habit. It's kind of tough on the phone. Emulators, or not emulators, PC clients can use a button. Put a keybind on it to make it kind of more reactive. But yeah, for me, it takes a little bit getting used to, but not a huge deal. And then so you see right there, spider. So this is the spider that's crawling right there. So figure that out. And now we're just getting to the test. So right there, power elixirs. And we did a much better job. Like right here, Our first one, people were wiping left and right. They didn't know how to use the power elixirs and stuff. Here, not a problem. Look, they're getting knocked back, but not into the web. And they're getting disoriented with the skull in their head, so they immediately just blink. They just blinked right back on top. So that's crucial as far as positioning. And then, just like phase one, there are check marks. Test, we call them. Spider again. Yeah, saw that coming. So we're getting pushed a little bit to the right here, but at least now they're starting to face left. So if we get knocked back, it's not that big of a deal. See, I think he died right there because he got knocked back into the corner. Yeah, right here. So I think aggro, truffle lock E, knocked back into the corner, and died to the web in the corner, right off the screen. Missed it, but that's what happened. So that's something like we can learn from, right? We reposition back into the middle. But it's really tough because he like the knockback and he kind of just starts drifting right. So we got to do a better job of that, and it's tough. And then now at the half mark, you see the notch is the test. If you've ever seen Will, there's like this is the test that we got to figure out. And it takes reps. There's a pattern to it. So we've been drilling it into the team, testing it, practicing it, but really until you get out here, you don't really know, right? And it moves pretty fast. So you'll see me here, we're all stacked up in the middle. And what we're waiting for is to react to spider legs here, right? So this is offset, the offset pattern. And so you have to move right. And anyone that didn't move right got killed, right? To the right spot. There's basically free spots to know. And then we moved right again. And then we start back in the middle. Rinse and repeat. So now screen crack or floor crack is the next pattern. So now you want to stay. So essentially what the thought process is, you want to get hit by the legs. But you don't know where the legs are. You have to memorize a pattern to know where the legs are going to spawn. Because if you don't go there preemptively, it's too late, right? You can't react. So you got to know where to go. And so how we moved here, because we knew the legs were going to be there. And then we go back to the spot, and there's the legs again. Right, so you're probably wondering how we know that. It's just through what we've seen in PC and KMSM, and we're just trying to figure out. That's how I know, but experience obviously is the fastest way to learn. But you got to memorize, like we had to memorize the patterns. That's what I did. And it just takes reps. So offset again, so right, and then right again. So essentially what it is for that one is where the legs previously spawned. That's the easy indicator for this particular pattern. And then screen crack, floor crack again. Wait, legs, and then move. Get hit by the legs, and then move. So there's 5 of these at each marker. So there's offset again. So there's 3 different patterns. Now, sorry, there's 3 different patterns. We didn't see the third variation, but now we failed the test, so the HP went back up. Similar to how I failed test in phase 1, HP went back up. And we ran out of lives real quick right there. So it is what it is. Like, I think we just need reps, practice, and we did get to the test here again, but unfortunately, I was super bummed that I died to spider here. I was like chilling, and I died to spider that walked right across. So sad. I was so sad. But this is it. You see, like we all just died. Shan and Copy, I think we're waiting to do a little bit more DPS, or maybe there's like a time we have to wait till. We're basically waiting for the banner to show up. So maybe he's just not doing enough DPS here. So he's trying to do DPS to get it over that threshold, and there's the banner. And so now you're getting into the test, and floor crack left. He did a good job here. just made it there. And then offset, I think, was the next one, and he was a little bit late, and then he died, right? So that was our will run, our best will run. Yeah, how long was that? That was 13 minutes. 13 minutes just through getting through phase 1.5. So long way to go, but I feel like we can get there much quicker, just by showing up a few things, more reps, getting a better phase 1. Phase 2 is quick as long as we pass this test. And yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of grinding. There was an Asia team that did clear. They kind of cheated the system though, so we're not going to count that. But they took pay to win to another level basically, and everyone else that's been doing it on their own is kind of in the same boat that we are. There is an Asia team while I'm recording this that is getting to phase 3 in good time, but they're falling a little bit short. It is a grind, right? They're getting to phase 3 and they're failing at like 13 minutes. That's tough. That's tough, right? So it really weighs on you. The duration, it's a long game for sure. So I think that's going to be the biggest obstacle. Mechanics are fine, but it's just the room for error in a 15-minute fight. Like after a few runs, we're brain dead. We are brain dead. So it'll be exciting for when a team does pass, and I got to shout out all the people that have been helping. Like in our Discord, we've been bouncing ideas off each other, learning from everyone else's. Like whether it's Enosis from NA, whether it's Asia with Sefi and Rubido, Sinner and all their team. Everyone's trying. Everyone's game planning and doing it at their own pace and figuring out things to do and better and sharing, which I think is amazing and really appreciative. So if you want to be part of that discussions, part of that conversation, to kind of see like everything behind the door, yeah, you want to jump in the Discord for sure, because that is where everything's happening. But more to come. We're going to try again on Sunday, get some of our main team back and just get reps. Just get reps and clean up some stuff, strategies better, and learn from our mistakes, really, and improve on it. So just wanted to share this with you guys. This is the big thing. August patch. Excited to just get, dude, I've been having a hard time. I've been waking up early, just kind of thinking about having a hard time sleep. Like I'm like so stimulated from just like my brain is just fried and excited about this. And yeah, thank you for watching. Hope everything works out for the patch notes. You'll figure it out for the boss contributions and things like that. So other than that, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.